Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Hoedown. I'm Megan Bauer, and as always, joins me the uh, fantastic,
Courageous.
co-
Fantastic. Oh, now I
courageous.
wanna see about
Ooh,
myself.
courageous. No, I like it. I just totally blanked. Courageous, Reba Svetkov. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about archetypes. Oh my gosh.
I'm excited to learn about them because I don't know much. And so this is, for those of you guys joining us, this is sort of an intro episode into what we're going to provide this month, which are little archetype shorts. So Reba, do you want to go in and explain like what
Yeah.
those shorts are, how long they're going to be?
Yeah. Today we're gonna kinda go over, like, what is an archetype, why know about archetypes, and how they kind of influence our lives. And then for that week, we're gonna have a 20-minute, podcast come out every day about each archetype, and we'll do 7 archetypes. Um I guess I'll kind of feed into like what is an archetype and where did that come from because people archetypes originated, have been around really for centuries because we see them in myth and folklore, um in everything that we even in our movies now that we see archetypes. And um so people can Carl Jung created like these certain archetypes um as he was doing his all of his research and things like that. He came up with those initial archetypes. Now people have created their own archetypes and they get really creative and they're really cool and they rename them. And so the same goes with folklore and goddesses and um, people that you see in the Bible, even. Um, you see these same reoccurring energies per people. And we are innately drawn to these archetypes. I want to read, there was something really cool that was like, we're hardwired to respond to archetypal images that are beyond our control. Like it's,
So archetypes have existed for like
I mean,
millennia, but Carl
yes,
Jung was the first person to say, okay,
yes,
this is this to classify it, I guess, give it a name and
yes,
classify it. Okay, got it. Got it.
yes. So let me give you what those archetypes are that he kind of talked about, and then we can talk more about how we're hardwired to be like attracted to those kinds of to the archetypes, to those energies.
Sweet.
So the first one is the maiden that I wanted to. So the maiden, which we think of, they're youthful, they're effervescent and vital. They have a vital quality. They can be young and naive and free spirited. Um,
But what
and
are
every
the so what are hold on, what are the 7? I don't wanna get into the details of them because 'cause we've gotta
well,
do.
no, but that's not even like
Oh, that's not even it?
all of it. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
like a little snippet of what a maiden would
Oh,
be.
okay, okay. I was
So
like, "Oh, don't give it
I
all
could just list
away."
them. I can just list them too. So there's the maiden, the mother, the lover, the huntress, the queen, the sage, and the mystic.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, give us, like, a little, like, sprinkling
Sprinkle. Yes,
of
yes,
of
yes.
each. Okay, I'm ready. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
So
cut you off.
there's just so much to talk about this. Like, how do I, I'm like, how do we talk about this in in
Give
our
give
order?
those, like, really fluffy
Okay.
descriptions first, and then for each short, we'll get into the more nitty-gritty.
Okay. So the maiden, each of these archetypes also have strengths and challenges that come with them when they're in balance and when they're out of balance. So a maiden can be youthful and naive and you can be adventurous and kind of like what's that girl in Rapunzel? What's her name?
Rapunzel?
No, but I think she has an actual shoot. Anyways, you guys know who I'm talking about in that one movie. But she's just like here and she's doing this thing and she's excited about life. But they can also be like waiting for life to happen to them. They can be people pleasing attributes. So we'll go into those more in detail in our 20-minute shorts about each. The mother is the most selfless archetype. They have the desire to protect and help and care for others. And as you know, some of the challenges that can come with that are like you're too selfless and you don't take care of your own self
Mhm.
or things like that. Um, not, and I also didn't mention that these are feminine archetypes.
I was gonna ask, do these apply to men and women or just
I think that they do. Right. I know they do. There are also masculine archetypes, and I think you could actually even classify, let's say, the mother as the caregiver role,
okay.
or the maiden as, I don't know what you would call that in the masculine form, but
Right, what
I
does
think
that look
somebody,
like?
I saw a fun one that was like the cowboy, or like, so um, there's just a lot of fun stuff online. Anyways, the lover seeks many kinds of love, family love, friends, a love for God and life, but also like playful and sensual. Um, they try to be attractive physically and emotionally, and you see these archetypes in, like I said, in movies, in books, in everything that we ever watch. Um, I actually did want, I was like, before we move on, well, I guess I can keep going through all the, just a little snippet. The Huntress is kind of an unconventional thinker. She's not afraid of chaos, and which brings change. She's usually like kind of a, she doesn't need other people necessarily. Like she's going to go out and get her shit done and like go for the things she wants in life. Um, then the queen, she embraces her power. She's a natural leader. She's confident. I think of Beyonce every time that I think of the queen.
I mean, who
Um,
doesn't?
right? She knows her worth and she doesn't tolerate negative, unhelpful attitudes. The sage is wisdom, knowledge, power, a seeker of truth and self reflection. And then the mystic um, feels divine presence in everything that surrounds her. She's continuously looking for inner knowledge and cares more for that than even, material concerns and things like that. Um, so that is just a tidbit of the archetypes. But then the question comes up like, why know about archetypes,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I am like always curious about myself. Like I have been, I always want to know like why am I the way I am, or how can I be more fully in this life and live a happier, healthier life. And I think that's why I have been drawn to, I think that's why we take those quizzes, or that we want to know what our um Meyer Briggs, or what are all those
Yeah,
personality.
Myers-Briggs.
There's that
What
IN.
Backstreet Boy you are.
Yes,
That's the important
yes,
one. That's the important one for me. I don't know about you guys, but
yes, exactly. Like we are attracted to those quizzes because we want to know about ourselves. And I think that, through astrology, through numerology, people are like, well, don't let somebody tell you who you are. But for me, what those things do, and for what archetypes do for me, is it gives me a point of reflection. It gives me a way to ask myself a question like, do I embody the mother archetype? And am I having that in a balanced state? Am I using those strengths of the mother archetype, or am I out of balance in my mother archetype and I'm not like bringing in the lover into my life? Am I only being the mother?
hmm,
Because these archetypes are all within us.
that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, does one person I feel like with those just brief descriptions that you provided, I'm kind of a little of all of those,
Mhm.
for
Yes.
better or worse. I was like, so I guess I thought like you were one of all
Well,
seven.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, at different phases in our lives, I think we are. Like
Yeah,
there's one strong
like a
force.
dominant one.
Yes. Like think about, I think about my 15-year-old. Um I feel like I see her move through a lot of things. Like she is quite sage for her age, but she is continuously on the quest for knowledge and maybe more like the huntress sometimes. Um, but I see those maiden qualities in her a lot
Mhm.
where it's like this love for life. She's learning how to drive, and it's like, oh my God, this is a new experience and this is awesome. And later on in life, we can stay a maiden for a long time, and that may not serve us very well. Where we're just like letting people tell us what to do, and this is where I go, and oh, this is
Mhm.
what you should do in your career. Um, but that joyful state and awe of life that maidens have can be useful as we go through life. So, with that, I guess you go through those phases, right? Of, okay, well, when you're a mother, you may be in the more of a mother archetype position. And
Mhm.
in that, then sometimes you forget, like I said, to be a lover, that you can be a huntress and a mother, and finding balance and those strengths in all, I don't know, in all of those energies.
So much like human design, archetype knowledge would be something, just another tool of self-awareness.
Yes,
So when,
that's how
a
I see it.
decision is made, you can reflect as, is this a decision that, what archetype am I making this decision from? And is that in balance with that archetype?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And how can I bring in maybe more of a huntress archetype if I'm in a maiden state?
Right. And I'm like
Um,
walking into a business meeting or something.
yeah. Or like the queen, right? Like
Hmm.
the queen surrounds herself with advisors, and she's like, she knows her worth, and she's going to step into that meeting as the queen.
Right.
Um, what I find fascinating too about this is what I kind of stepped into a little was that these are forces, these are like, I want to read some of these things that I wrote down here. A person who closely embodies an archetype is capable of triggering a deep primal neurological response that completely bypasses conscious thought. Even if we
Is that good
even
or
if we
bad?
don't, huh?
Is that good or bad?
Well, I think that that just speaks to our primal instincts.
Okay. Okay.
I think that it's sort of like if we want to get sexuality out of the media, it's sort of like it's not going to leave because it is a primal, like we can't help but be like a magnet to it.
Right.
Like it is a primal thing to want to like procreate.
So it's not good or bad. It just is.
It just is.
Okay.
And something to know about, and not only that, but okay, so as the lover can, some of the things that can be out of balance is using um like sexual attraction to manipulate. So yeah, it could be not easy, in the media that does happen all the time.
Hmm.
Um, but in a good way, and in a way that serves us, the lover is full of creativity and, these kinds of flow and excitement.
Hmm.
So it's more about, just like in human design, is this going to serve you, or are you living in alignment with who you truly are? Or is this making you out of balance? And are you not using this archetype energy in the best way?
I see. Awesome.
Um, I feel like there was another point on that I just wanted to talk about. Oh, so Carl Jung referred to these symbols as like they exist in the collective unconscious, because this is cross cultural. This is not just in certain cultures. This is worldwide over time. And that It looms over the individual psyche like a shadow, quietly influencing our actions and reactions. So, the more that we can be aware that they are influencing us, the more we can have choice, a little, bring a little more consciousness into our actions.
That's fascinating that it
Yeah.
like transcends culture, race, biases. I don't know the
Yeah.
plural. Like that it, and we all that's fascinating.
Yeah. I think so too.
Like why? Why does it do that? I want to get all like existential with it and metaphysical and be like, what is the what is the function of this? I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think because it almost makes us a holistic being.
Yeah, I mean obviously that's what I believe because that's, I have a podcast about it. But I think, and I also firmly believe that we are all connected. As a Reiki practitioner, I firmly believe that we are all connected on an unseen level. And so when I see instances like this where, archetypes, it seems, phenomenon that seems to transcend all
Mhm.
differences that we perceive as differences, it just makes me like it just further backs up my belief that yeah, we are all connected. Like why
Mhm.
else would something like this exist? I mean, it existed long before Carl Jung found, put a name
Oh,
to it.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's
So,
just like I need to go down an internet rabbit hole. I'll be right back.
I know, and you can. It's like there's so much information out there, and also, I mean, people have created the most cool things around the archetypes to learn about yourself or, like, to add on to the archetypes. You also see the archetypes in the major arcana in the tarot deck.
Yeah, because isn't there the goddess and
Well, there's the queen, the empress, there's, like,
the empress?
the
That's what it is. I forgot.
uh-huh, the hermit, which I think can be related to the mystic. Um, so they all have a little bit of a different name, but they embody that same archetype.
My angel cards, the from Kyle Gray, they're like angels and ancestors, I believe is what it's called. But there's like now that you've brought that to my attention, all of those are in that deck. And I didn't even realize it until this minute,
Just now.
just
Yeah.
now. Today years old.
Yeah. I'm so happy. Um, but I think going back to how this transcends cultures, we think about the birth death cycle that we talked about with Hannah
hmm
in our Death Witch podcast. But going through the cycles of like maiden, mother, crone, or sage, um, in each of those times of our lives, we learn something new and we embody something new.
hmm
When you see a sage, I think that those sage things can come out during lots of parts of our lives. But when you've lived a full life, to say you're the crone now and you can now give little tidbits to the mother and the maiden and share that knowledge, um, that cycle is a part of human existence. Like
Yeah.
that is literally what we go through. We become the lover and then the mother, right? And hopefully a lover throughout our lives, but
hmm
and we keep that going. But I do think sometimes an archetype can be an overarching theme for, like, you can have one that's like way more pronounced than others throughout your life.
Right. Right.
Like,
Excuse
I've
me.
known since I was young, I was like, I want kids. I cannot wait to have kids. I thought I wanted like 8 of them because my dad has 9 sisters and I loved big families.
Oh.
I know. But then I was like, I had one and I'm like, "Whoa,
9
okay."
girls? 9
Yeah,
girls?
9 girls and 1 boy. Yeah.
Oh, I bet he was just spoiled rotten.
No, he was not.
What? He wasn't?
I think it was the reverse.
Was he the
Yeah.
oldest?
No, he's the 4th.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really know, I
He's, like,
mean
middle childish. In the scheme
yes,
of 9 kids, 4 is, like, middle-ish. 4
yes.
and 5, you're the middle kids.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and they were all, like, a year apart. It was like a, Irish Catholic family, like, if
Irish
God
twins
will
for,
give you
like, 9 kids in a row.
yes,
Oh
yes.
my
So,
god.
I mean, your mom has to be a little cuckoo after that, like, not even cuckoo, but
You
you
have to
just
be
gotta
cuckoo
you
before that
oh, yeah, yeah.
to say,
I'm
"Let's keep doing this." This is super fun.
I am really thankful for all of my aunts and my father, but man, that's just I think that some people are cut out for that,
Mhm.
and, like, they're like, "Yes, bring it on." And then whenever like I said, when I had my first, I was like, "Woo, I'm just gonna give you a sibling." And then we're, like, done.
Yeah, that's what our plan was. We're going for 2, and we got
And then we
3.
got 3.
It's great.
But yeah, exactly. But I don't know what I was talking about before this.
Oh, archetypes. What
Oh,
was
yeah,
it?
archetypes.
Shit. Oh, I mean, we're talking about how, during certain seasons of your life, sometimes
Yeah.
those archetypes can be seasons, like the sage
Mhm.
season and the mother season.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, I've got a little bit of, probably all of those things, but I would be interested to see if I'm more predominantly in the mother role right now.
Yeah. And I think knowing that you can also I think some people also knowing that it's like, okay, I know I'm predominantly in that, but to balance and feel like a whole like being, I need to bring in a little bit of this lover energy or this huntress energy or the queen energy,
Hmm.
or even maiden, like be joyful and play and like experience the world through your children's eyes. Um, that I don't know. I'm like, wow, now I don't know what I was gonna say. That's really great.
That balances that mother energy, that maybe there's too much mother energy and there needs to be a little more of that maiden and the huntress and the queen and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And as a maiden, maybe you need to balance with a little bit more sage.
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
think maiden, I think inexperience, lacks life experience
Yeah,
to make.
or huntress. Like, I
Yeah,
can do this. I don't need someone to save me. I don't
right.
need someone to tell me what to do. I mean,
Yeah, there you
sometimes you
go.
need some guidance, maiden, but, going through that. I also, one of the things that made me super curious about archetypes was thinking back at archetype, like when I'm watching a movie, who I identify with or who is magnetic to me. And I think I had when I started my journey of like tarot and doing energy work and things like that, I realized that in a lot of movies, I was always attracted to the like herbal, the woman, the medicine woman who
Hmm.
was creating tinctures and doing all these kinds of things, or was the mystic. And it was like that part of me was yearning to come out. Like, it was sorta like, "Oh my god, this is you," and it feels so good to watch you on TV and watch what you do,
Hmm.
or see people in real life who were living that, and it was like my my body was yearning for that and had been those parts of me had been shoved down because culturally they might not be okay, um, for or what I tell myself or, all those reasons, or the lover. You cannot be sensual because you're a mother now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that one sometimes so hardcore, and I've over the years been like, I can like we talked about, like, I can wear a crop top. I can be a sensual person because that feels good to me.
Yeah. I think
Um,
that's out of balance for me. Now that you mention that, I think that's out of balance for me,
yeah, and then
personally.
judgment can come for other like I think I've heard this a lot where it's like, "Oh, she's a mom and why is she dressing like that?" And it's like, well, she can dress however she wants.
When I see a mom dressed with in a crop top, I'm like, you fucking go, girl. That's awesome.
Well, one of my friends recently, she kind of is coming into this like rebirth cycle, and she was recently telling me how she feels the same way, and she was just like, well, that's just not for me, but I like love how other people can embody that and do that and wear crop tops and wear whatever. I'm just giving crop tops as an example, but they can dress however they want, but that's just not for me. And she came over to my house the other day in a sports bra and just totally owning like this is me. And you could tell she felt so vibrant and like full of life, and there was something magnetic about her in that moment because she was being her.
And now I need to buy a crop top. I need to go out and do it. I need to do
I
it.
mean, I think when we can be a little bit more fully ourselves, it gives other people permission to do the same.
Yeah.
And you might get shit for it, but I think as the huntress or as the queen, you got to be like, I don't give a fuck because this is my life
Yes.
and I fucking feel good. And I wanted to walk out of the house with this on or with my hair like this or with these earrings on.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy a crop top. I'm going to do it.
Please post it on
It's going to be
on
hot
our
for like
Facebook.
another like month and a half. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to post a picture of it, but let's not get crazy here. I mean, I might show you a picture of it.
Okay, okay.
I'm at Marco Polo you, but I don't know if it's going to go on like the gram or anything. Let's not get
Okay,
crazy.
okay, fine. But it's a step in that, and I think those things can be shut down, like I said.
Yeah.
These parts of ourselves, and as holistic people, we are sensual beings. We have to be sensual beings to procreate, like
Right.
to keep the human existence going. Like that has to
We should
happen.
be. Like we need to be sensual people.
Yeah, and it is a primal thing within us, but so is our connection with spirit or God or source
Mhm.
as the mystic. Um, and the same goes with like touching in with our inner knowledge, our intuition, being the sage, having being self-reflective is really the sage is looking for truth. And so all of these archetypes I think are important in our throughout our lives, and I'm excited to talk about each one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about each one. So there's 7 total.
7 total. Again, people have like 13 seduction archetypes and masculine archetypes, and they name them different things, but yes, 7 that we'll talk about.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the OG 7 Carl Jung archetypes. Got it. And so each episode I'm guessing is going to be about, we're going to keep it short. Usually our episodes are pretty long. Um
Like 20-ish minutes, I think we
and
can
it
do
was
it.
our, pro bono production manager, Alexa, right? That was like,
Yeah.
these episodes are too long.
Yeah, she's like, 15-year-old. Like, who listens to an hour episode? I was like, people do.
Adults with patience.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
don't
my child.
worry, if you are not an adult with patience, then these are the episodes for
It's
you.
for
They're going to
you.
be 20
Yeah.
minutes each, a 20-minute
Oh,
rundown of each archetypes,
yeah.
7 different archetypes.
Short car ride.
Yeah.
Pop it in.
Yeah.
Um,
Done doing the dishes. You're done.
yeah, exactly. So that is the hope for a little self-reflection, a little more inner knowledge, and also not only that, but seeing that in other people, that other people are not just one archetype. Your mom isn't just your mom. She's also all of these other things.
Yeah. Kids, get in here.
Yeah.
Learn right now.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next few episodes.
All right, bye.
Bye.